Chapter 1. The Exchange. You are in England. 1492. The smell of damp straw and burning wood fills the small cottage where you have lived your entire 12 years of life. Your name is Thomas Blackwell, and today everything changes. I cannot believe this day has come, Mother whispers, her calloused fingers adjusting the rough woolen cloak around your shoulders. Her eyes glisten with unshed tears, but her face remains stoic. You have grown so fast, my boy. Father stands by the door, his expression unreadable as always. The winter sun casts weak shadows through the single window of your home. Outside, a cart waits. Master Willard Fletcher, the cloth merchant from Canterbury, sits atop with his driver, ready to take you away. Will I ever return? You ask, your voice cracking in a way that embarrasses you. At 12, you are considered a man now, not a child who cries when separated from his mother. 7 years, Father says firmly. 7 years as Master Fletcher's apprentice, and you will return with a trade, with skills worth more than anything we could give you here. He places a heavy hand on your shoulder. This is how it has always been. The weight of tradition presses down on you like the damp English air. Looking around the cottage one last time, you memorize every detail. The worn table where you shared meals, the corner where you slept beside your younger siblings, the hearth where Mother taught you to stir porridge. You wonder if your 8-year-old brother Edmund will be sent away next year, following the same ancient custom that now tears you from your home. Master Fletcher clears his throat outside. Time to depart, boy. Remember what I taught you, Mother murmurs, pressing something into your palm. A small wooden cross, crudely carved but smooth from years of handling. Keep your faith, work hard, and perhaps one day you might become a master merchant yourself. The moment stretches, full of words no one says. Then Father nods curtly, and you know it is time. Stepping outside into the bitter cold, you approach the cart without looking back. Your heart hammers in your chest. Stories of apprentices beaten by cruel masters, of boys who died far from home, of girls sent to serve in noble houses, never to return, all swirl in your mind like autumn leaves caught in the wind. Up you go, lad, Master Fletcher says, his voice neither kind nor unkind, just businesslike. He is a tall man with a neatly trimmed beard and clothes finer than any you have seen in your village. Canterbury awaits, and there is much for you to learn. As the cart lurches forward, you clutch your small bundle of possessions, spare shirt, the wooden cross, a small knife Father gave you, and watch your village disappear behind a bend in the road. Your childhood ends not with celebration, but with the creak of cartwheels and the slow realization that you are utterly alone. From the neighboring cottage, you see young Alice Thatcher watching, her eyes wide. Next month, she too will leave, sent to serve in the household of a wealthy merchantess widow in London. At 12, she is already preparing for marriage, learning to manage a household while you must master a trade. You are fortunate, boy, Master Fletcher says suddenly, breaking the silence as the cart rumbles along the muddy road. Many fathers cannot arrange such favorable apprenticeships. Do you know how to read? You shake your head, watching the unfamiliar countryside roll by. Then that will be your first lesson, he says, surprising you. A cloth merchant must keep ledgers, read contracts, understand numbers. Your father spoke highly of your quick mind. This revelation startles you. Father had never once complimented your intelligence at home. Had he seen value in you all along? Value he never expressed until negotiating your apprenticeship. As dusk approaches, you see the distant spires of Canterbury Cathedral rising above the horizon. The massive stone structure, larger than anything you have ever imagined, makes your breath catch. Master Fletcher notices your awe. Impressive, is it not? Built by men who never lived to see it completed. That is the way of valuable things, Thomas. They outlast us. For the first time since leaving home, a flicker of curiosity cuts through your dread. Perhaps there is more to this new life than separation and servitude. Perhaps, like the cathedral built stone by stone over generations, your apprenticeship is the foundation of something greater than yourself. The cart enters the city gates just as the bells ring for evening prayers. The streets bustle with activity merchants closing shops, apprentices carrying goods, servants hurrying on errands. You have never seen so many people in one place. We arrive at my establishment, Master Fletcher announces as the cart stops before a 3-story timber building near the market square. From today, this is your home. Home. The word feels wrong on your tongue as you follow him inside. In the large front room that serves as Master Fletcher's shop, bolts of coloured fabric line the walls, blues, reds, and greens, so vibrant they hurt your eyes. Thomas, a boy, not much older than you, emerges from the back room. Is this the new apprentice, Master Fletcher? Indeed, William. Show him where he will sleep and explain his duties. Tomorrow begins his education. William grins at you, a surprising friendliness in his face. Come along then. I have been Master Fletcher's apprentice for 2 years now. Not as horrible as you might think, though the first month is the hardest. As you follow William up a narrow staircase, you realize that this exchange of children, this custom that seemed so cruel this morning, might have unexpected benefits. While your heart still aches for home, you understand that here, in this strange new place, you might become something your village could never make you. Do not worry so much, William says, noting your expression. Master Fletcher is fair, which is more than many can say, and Canterbury has wonders you cannot imagine. That night, lying on a straw pallet in the attic room you share with William and another apprentice named John, you finally let your tears fall silently. Yet, alongside your grief, a seed of something else has been planted, possibility. Tomorrow, you think a sleep finally claims you. Tomorrow, you begin becoming someone new. Chapter 2. Learning the trade. Dawn breaks with the cathedral bells echoing across Canterbury. You jolt awake, momentarily confused by the unfamiliar surroundings, the slanted ceiling, the narrow window letting in grey light, the snoring boys beside you. Then yesterday's memories flood back, the tearful goodbye, the journey, Master Fletcher's shop up, new boy. William prods you with his foot. Master rises early, and so do we. You scramble to your feet, surprised to find that John has already disappeared downstairs. The wooden floorboards feel cold beneath your bare feet as you quickly splash water on your face from the shared basin. What must I do first? You ask, trying to sound eager rather than terrified. William tosses you a rough linen shirt. Put this on. Your village clothes mark you as an outsider. Master Fletcher provides garments for his apprentices, an other sign of his generosity. Downstairs, the shop remains closed to customers, but activity buzzes throughout the building. A plump woman with flour-dusted hands, Mistress Agnes, the housekeeper, shoves a wooden bowl of porridge into your hands. Eat quickly, she instructs, her tone brisk but not unkind. Master has a full day planned for you. The porridge tastes better than what you ate at home, sweetened with honey. A luxury your family rarely afforded. You devour it, suddenly aware of how hungry you are. Master Fletcher emerges from his counting room, carrying a ledger bound in leather. Thomas, he acknowledges you with a nod. Today you begin your education. Can you count 220? Master, you admit, embarrassed by your limited knowledge. Surprisingly, he seems neither disappointed nor angry. Better than most who come to me. We shall build on that foundation. Your first morning passes in a whirlwind of instruction. Master Fletcher shows you how to identify different cloths ruining. Your fingers across wool, linen, and even a small piece of silk that feels impossibly smooth against your calloused skin. This, he says, holding up the silk scrap, comes from places far beyond England, from lands where men worship strange gods and speak languages you cannot imagine. The world suddenly seems vast and mysterious. You think of the wooden cross in your pocket, wondering how many different peoples exist beyond Canterbury, beyond England itself. By midday, your head spins with new knowledge. You have learned to measure cloth using ells and yards, to recognize quality by examining the tightness of the weave, and to distinguish between dyes by their origins, woad for blue, madder for red. You learn quickly, Master Fletcher remarks, as you correctly identify a bolt of Flemish broadcloth. Perhaps your father did not overstate your abilities. Pride swells in your chest, an unfamiliar feeling. In your village, you were merely another mouth to feed. Here, your mind has value. The shop opens after the noon meal, and customers begin to arrive. You watch from a corner, observing how Master Fletcher transforms when dealing with clients, how his voice modulates depending on whether he speaks to a nobleman, a steward, or a local tailor. Note how I negotiate, he murmurs to you during a brief lull. The price is never simply the price. It is a conversation, a dance of words. A well-dressed woman enters, accompanied by a servant girl who cannot be much older than you. Master Fletcher bows deeply. Lady Pembroke, what an honor. How may I serve you today? The noblewoman barely acknowledges his greeting, her eyes scanning the fabrics displayed along the walls. I require cloth for new household livery. Show me your finest English wool, dyed Pembroke blue, as Master Fletcher hurries to display appropriate bolts. You notice the servant girl catching your eye. She offers a quick, sympathetic smile, one apprentice recognizing another. You wonder if she too was sent away from home, exchanged into service like you. The transaction consumes nearly an hour as Lady Pembroke examines and rejects multiple options before finally selecting a deep blue wool. Throughout the negotiation, Master Fletcher maintains a deferential manner while subtly guiding her toward the most expensive suitable cloth. After she departs, he turns to you. Lady Pembroke's household orders represent significant income for this shop. Remember, Thomas, always show respect to nobility, but never allow them to undervalue your goods. The afternoon continues with a steady stream of customers. You assist by fetching bolts of cloth and learning to wrap purchases neatly. By evening, your arms ache from lifting heavy wool, and your mind overflows with new information. As William lights lamps around the shop, Master Fletcher calls you to his counting room, a small chamber adjacent to the main shop floor. Inside, shelves hold rows of leather-bound books, and a large desk dominates the space. Sit, he instructs, indicating a small stool. He opens a ledger filled with neat columns of numbers and symbols you cannot decipher. This is the heart of any merchanter's business, Thomas. Not the goods we sell, but the records we keep. He dips a quill into an inkwell and demonstrates how to form numbers on a scrap of parchment. Each evening, you will practice your figures. Within 6 months, I expect you to read simple words as well. The task seems impossible. You think of your father, who could barely write his own name, and your mother, who counted using notches on a stick. I will try, Master, you promise, though doubt gnaws at you. Master Fletcher's expression softened slightly. I selected you from several potential apprentices, Thomas. Your father spoke of your memory, how you recall details. Others miss. Show me, I chose wisely. Later, as you climb the stairs to the attic bedroom, William nudges you. Not so terrible, was it? First day always seems overwhelming. Does it become easier? You ask, massaging your sore shoulders. William chuckles. Different, not easier. Wait until he sends you to the docks to inspect incoming shipments, or makes you bargain with the wool merchants from the north. In the attic room, John already snores on his pallet. You collapse onto your own, exhaustion overtaking you. Yet beneath the tiredness, excitement bubbles. Today, you handled silk that traveled across oceans. You watched nobility haggle over prices. You began learning skills your village could never have taught you. As sleep claims you, you realize that while you were exchanged like a commodity, sent away from everything familiar, perhaps this trade might eventually favor you. If you can learn, adapt, and understand this new world of commerce and calculation, you might someday return home as someone important, someone with valuable knowledge. The wooden cross presses against your chest, a reminder of who you were. But the ledger S figures dance behind your closed eyelids, hinting at who you might become. Chapter 3. The forbidden friendship spring arrives in Canterbury, bringing with it warm breezes that carry the scent of blossoms through the open shop windows. 3 months have passed since you left your village, and the raw wound of separation has dulled to an occasional ache when something reminds you of home. The particular way sunlight falls through trees, or the sound of church bells at dusk. You have grown taller, your village accent has softened, and your hands bear new calluses from handling cloth and carrying heavy trade goods. Most significantly, you can now read simple words and calculate sums that would have bewildered you. In January. Good work, Thomas, Master Fletcher comments, reviewing your practice sheet where you have copied inventory lists with increasingly neat handwriting. Your progress exceeds my expectations. His praise warms you. Over these months, you have come to respect your master, even if you do not yet love him as you do your father. Master Fletcher is stern but fair, demanding excellence but acknowledging effort. May I accompany you to the spring market next week? You ask boldly, setting down your quill. Master Fletcher raises an eyebrow at your forwardness but nods. Yes, I suppose you are ready. The market attracts merchants from across England and beyond. An educational opportunity. You hide your excitement behind a respectful bow. The spring market is famous throughout Kent, a gathering of traders, entertainers, and people from all walks of life. William has spoken of nothing else for weeks. Later that afternoon, while delivering a package of fine linen to the home of a wealthy merchant named Master Harwick, you encounter someone unexpected. As the household steward examines the delivery, a girl about your age enters the courtyard carrying a basket of freshly laundered linens. With a jolt, you recognize the servant who accompanied Lady Pembroke to the cloth shop months ago. She notices you too, offering a quick smile before disappearing through a side door. The steward finally approves the delivery and pays you the agreed sum, which you carefully tuck into the leather pouch Master Fletcher entrusted to you. As you turn to leave, the girl reappears in the gateway. You are Master Fletcher's new apprentice, she states, rather than asks. Yes, you reply, surprised by her directness. Thomas Blackwell. Margaret Cooper, she introduces herself. I serve Lady Pembroke as her Lady S, maid in training, though today I am delivering linens to Master Harwick's household. You should leave immediately. Prentices are forbidden from lingering during deliveries, but curiosity holds. You in place. You are not from Canterbury, you observe, noting her accent. Nor are you, she counters with a smile. Hampshire, originally, sent here when I was 9. I arrived only in January, from a village near Rochester. Margaret glances over her shoulder, ensuring no one watches your conversation. Lady Pembroke visits Master Harwick every Wednesday. I always accompany her. Perhaps we might speak again next week. The suggestion both thrills and alarms you. Apprentices are strictly forbidden from forming friendships outside their masteress' household, especially with young women, yet the possibility of connecting with someone who understands the experience of being sent away, who knows the loneliness of serving strangers, proves irresistible. I often deliver to Master Harwick on Wednesdays, you say carefully. If our paths cross again, it would be a pleasant coincidence. Her smile brightens at your implied agreement. Until our coincidental meeting, Thomas Blackwell. All week, thoughts of Margaret distract you from your duties. William notices your preoccupation. You seem absent-minded, he comments as you accidentally knock over a stack of linen napkins. The spring market excitement, is it? You mumble agreement, unwilling to share the true cause of your distraction. When Wednesday arrives, Master Fletcher hands you another package for Master Harwick's household. Return directly, he instructs. The Italian merchants arrive today, and I want you present when they display their silks. Heart racing, you deliver the package with unusual haste, then linger in the courtyard, pretending to adjust your bootlaces. Just as you begin to think Margaret will not appear, she emerges from the main house. Thomas, she greets you quietly, glancing toward the house. Walk with me to the garden gate. I must appear to be checking the herb garden for Lady Pembroke. You fall into step beside her, maintaining a respectable distance as you cross the courtyard toward a small garden. Tell me of your apprenticeship, she requests. Is Master Fletcher a fair employer? Better than most, I believe. You answer, he teaches me to read and calculate, not just to cut cloth and serve customers. Margaret looks impressed. Reading is a valuable skill. Lady Pembroke ensures I learn household management, but not letters. She says a maid with too much knowledge becomes uppity. Perhaps I could teach you, you offer impulsively. What? I know, at least. Her eyes widen at the suggestion. That would be. She falls silent as a door opens, and Lady Pembroke's voice carries across the courtyard. Margaret, where have you disappeared to, girl? The garden, my lady, checking the rosemary as you requested. Margaret calls back, then whispers urgently to you. The cathedral, Sunday after High Mass, near the Pilgrim S entrance. You nod quickly before she hurries away, calling out details about herb quality for her mistress' benefit. You slip out through the garden gate, heart pounding with exhilaration and fear. The Italian merchants indeed arrive that afternoon, bringing fabrics more luxurious than any you have seen, silk damasks in patterns so intricate they make your eyes blur. Velvets so deep you could lose yourself in their pile. Yet throughout the display, your thoughts repeatedly drift to Margaret and your promised Sunday meeting. Sunday arrives clear and mild. After attending Mass with Master Fletcher's household, you claim a need to practice your devotions. privately a lie that burns your conscience but feels necessary. Master Fletcher, pleased by your apparent piety, grants permission to remain at the cathedral. Margaret appears, as promised, wearing her best dress, still simple, but brightened with a blue ribbon at the collar. "I cannot stay long," she whispers, as you walk together through the cathedral grounds, maintaining the appearance of casual acquaintances. Lady Pembroke expects me back to help with her afternoon visitors. For half an hour, you exchange stories of home, of the families you left behind, of the strange customs of Canterbury that still sometimes bewilder you both. When Margaret mentions her younger sister, tears briefly fill her eyes. "She was 4 when I left. She probably barely remembers me now." You think of your own siblings who would be taking your place as the eldest child at home. Little Mary, who was just learning to speak when you departed. "My apprenticeship lasts 7 years, you say. When it ends, I will be 19. Almost a stranger to them." Margaret nods in understanding. "Lady Pembroke has promised to provide a dowry when I reach 16. 4 more years of service, then marriage to someone of her choosing. The inevitability of her future strikes you as both comforting and confining. While your apprenticeship offers potential advancement, perhaps even partnership in master Fletcher's business, someday Margaret's service leads to only one destination: marriage to a man selected by her mistress. We must meet again, you say, as the cathedral bells signal the hour. I can bring my practice sheets, show you the letters." Margaret hesitates. "It is dangerous, Thomas. If Lady Pembroke discovered I was meeting a cloth merchant's apprentice... Once more, you plead. "Next Sunday?" After a moment, she nods. "Next Sunday, but we must be more careful. The herb garden behind St. Martin's Church. Fewer people pass there. Your secret meetings continue through April and into May brief. Encounters where you show Margaret how to form letters on scraps of parchment you salvage from Master Fletcher's waste, or simply share experiences of your separate lives in service. Each meeting ends with promises to see each other again, despite the increasing risk. One Thursday evening in late May, Master Fletcher calls you into his counting room. Your stomach tightens with apprehension as he somehow discovered your forbidden friendship. "Thomas," he begins gravely, "I have received a letter from Master Harwick. He mentions seeing you multiple times near his property on days when no deliveries were scheduled. The blood drains from your face. You stare at the floor, unable to meet his eyes. I trusted you with increasing responsibility, Master Fletcher." Continues, disappointment evident in his voice. "Whatever has drawn you to Master Harwick's household repeatedly, it ends now. Do you understand?" "Yes, Master Fletcher," you whisper. "Your conduct reflects upon my business, Thomas. I selected you because your father vouched for your character. Do not make me regret that choice." The warning feels like a physical blow. You think of the letter your father entrusted to Master Fletcher upon your departure, a letter you never read, but which apparently contained praise you had never heard directly from your father's lips. "It will not happen again, you promise." Shame burning through you. Good. The spring market begins tomorrow. I expect exemplary behavior as you assist me at our stall. That night, sleep eludes you. The excitement of the spring marketarn event you have anticipated for months now mixes with anxiety about Margaret. How will you tell her you cannot meet again? Will she think you have abandoned her, as her family seemingly did years ago? The market dawns bright and clear, the streets of Canterbury transformed overnight into a riot of colour and sound. Merchants from across England and beyond have erected stalls along the main thoroughfares, and in the cathedral grounds. Master Fletcher's display occupies a prime position near the cathedral gate, showcasing his finest cloths. As you help arrange the goods, a familiar voice cuts through the market noise. Lady Pembroke approaches, Margaret trailing dutifully behind her. Your eyes meet briefly, a moment of silent communication before you busy yourself with a bolt of blue wool. Master Fletcher, Lady Pembroke greets coolly. I require fabrics for summer garments. Show me what you have brought to the market. While your master attends to the noblewoman, Margaret edges closer to where you stand. Sunday, she whispers, almost inaudibly. You shake your head minutely, eyes fixed on the cloth in your hands. Cannot, discovered. Her sharp intake of breath tells you she understands. As Lady Pembroke examines various silks, Margaret slips a folded scrap of paper into a bolt of linen near your hand. You palm it discreetly, heart racing. The day passes in a blur of transactions and demonstrations. Only when evening falls and you return to the shop do you find a private moment to unfold Margaret's note. Her handwriting is unpracticed but legible, the result of your brief lessons. Market ends Sunday. East Gate after closing. Please. Come. You trace the carefully formed letters with your finger, pride in her progress mixing with dread at the risk she asks you to take. Meeting at the market's end would mean slipping away after curfew, an offence that could end your apprenticeship, if discovered. Yet as you stare at the note, you realize that Margaret has become more than a forbidden friendship. She represents a connection to the world beyond Master Fletcher's shop, a reminder that you are more than just an apprentice, more than a transaction between your father and a merchant. The decision forms slowly but solidly in your mind. And day. Evening, you will find a way to meet her one last time. Chapter 4. Market Day, Revelations. The spring market transforms Canterbury into a different city entirely. Streets normally dominated by local merchants and craftsmen now overflow with traders from distant lands. Their exotic accents, unusual clothing, and foreign wares, creating an atmosphere of excitement and possibility. For 3 days, you work tirelessly at Master Fletcher's stall, learning more about the cloth trade than months in the shop could teach. You observe how Flemish merchants haggle differently than Londoners, how Italian silk traders present their goods with theatrical flourish, and how your master adjusts his approach for each customer. Watch the Venetian, Master Fletcher murmurs as an elegantly dressed Italian examines a bolt of English broadcloth. He will claim the weave is inferior to what they produce in Florence, then offer half our asking price. Sure enough, the scenario unfolds exactly as predicted. You marvel at how Master Fletcher counters each objection, eventually securing a sale at only slightly below his initial offer. Negotiation is conversation with purpose. He tells you afterward, remember that, Thomas, Saturday brings even larger crowds. The air fills with the mingled scents of sizzling meat pies, sweet candied fruits, and exotic spices from merchant stalls. Musicians perform on street corners, their lively tunes providing rhythm to the market's chaotic dance. Acrobats and jugglers entertain children, while storytellers gather crowds with tales of distant lands and fantastic beasts. Despite your worries about Margaret and Master Fletcher's warning, you find yourself swept up in the market's energy. During a brief respite, when William watches the stall, you wander a few steps away, drawn to a merchant selling items from the east. Ah, young apprentice, the trader calls, noting your cloth merchant's apron. Come see wonders from Constantinople. And beyond, his table displays items unlike any you have encountered. intricately decorated metal boxes, glass vials filled with amber liquid, and small carved figures of unfamiliar creatures. Most fascinating is a flat metal disc with inscribed markings and a floating needle at its center. "What is this?" you ask, pointing to the strange object. The merchant grins, revealing a gold tooth, a mariner's compass. It always points north, guiding ships across open seas where no landmarks exist. You stare in wonder, imagining vast oceans and brave sailors navigating by this magical device. The merchant senses your fascination. "The world is changing, boy. Men sail farther each year, discovering new lands, new peoples, new opportunities for trade. The old ways, the life of your father and his father before him, they fade like morning mist." His words resonate deeply. Is this not why your parents send you away? Not merely to follow tradition, but to secure a future in a world expanding beyond the boundaries of your small village. "Thomas," Master Fletcher's sharp voice breaks your reverie. "Return to the stall at once. William must attend to a delivery." You hurry back, apologizing for your distraction. Your master's stern expression softens slightly. "Curiosity is valuable in a merchant," he concedes, "but duty comes first. Remember that. As Saturday's trading concludes and you help pack unsold goods for the night, a commotion erupts near the cathedral gate. Raised voices and the clatter of armor signal the arrival of soldiers. Market-goers scramble to clear a path as a group of armed men marches through, surrounding a richly dressed nobleman on horseback. "Who is that?" you ask William as you both pause to watch. "Lord Hastings," William whispers, "one of King Henry's closest advisors. They say he carries messages between London and Dover, where ships wait to take news to France. The noble's politics that once seemed distant and irrelevant now parade before your eyes." You recall snippets of conversation between Master Fletcher and other merchants, worried discussions about the king's health, about tensions with France, about taxes and trade restrictions. As Lord Hastings and his entourage disappear toward the castle, you notice a familiar figure hurrying in their wake, Lady Pembroke, with Margaret following closely behind. For an instant, Margaret turns, scanning the crowd until her eyes find yours. She gives an almost imperceptible nod before continuing after her mistress. That evening, as you sweep the shop floor, Master Fletcher summons you to his counting room. Your pulse quickens, fearing another reprimand, but his expression appears thoughtful rather than stern. "You observed Lord Hastings today," he states, arranging papers on his desk. "Yes, master. And what did you see?" The question confuses you. A nobleman with soldiers, traveling to Dover, from what William said. Master Fletcher nods slowly. "And his clothing? Did you note the fabric of his doublet?" You hesitate, trying to recall details. "Dark velvet, I believe, with embroidery. At the collar, Italian velvet," Master Fletcher corrects. "Specifically, Florentine. The same quality I showed you when the Venetian merchants visited last month." He gives you an appraising look. "Politics and trade are inseparable, Thomas. The fabrics nobles choose, the merchants they patronize. These reveal alliances and intentions more clearly than proclamations." He picks up a letter sealed with wax. "I have correspondence to send to London. Our business there has suffered since winter, and I must understand why." His eyes narrow slightly. "I am considering sending you. Your shock must show plainly on your face," for he continues, "not immediately. Perhaps in autumn, once you have mastered basic accounts." William would accompany you for the journey, but you would represent my interests to specific clients. Pride and terror battle within you. London, the greatest city in England, a place most village boys would never see. Yet the responsibility seems overwhelming. I would be honored, Master Fletcher. It is not certain, he cautions. Your progress must continue, and your behavior must be exemplary. No more unauthorized wanderings, no distractions. Margaret's face flashes in your mind. I understand, Master. Good. Now, tomorrow is the market's final day. We must prepare our best offerings. Sunday arrives with unexpected rain alight, but persistent drizzle that dampens the market's spirits. Shoppers hurry between stalls rather than browsing leisurely, and many entertainers abandon their performances. You work diligently at Master Fletcher's side, determined to prove your worthiness for the London journey. By late afternoon, the rain stops, and a final surge of customers arrives before the market's closing. Among them, you spot Lady Pembroke once more, examining fabrics at a rival merchant's stall. Margaret stands a respectful distance behind, but when her mistress becomes engrossed in conversation, she edges away, pretending to admire nearby goods while gradually moving toward Master Fletcher's stall. Thomas, she murmurs when she draws near, her voice barely audible above the market noise. Eastgate, after sunset. I must speak with you. Before you can respond, she drifts away, returning to her mistress's side as if she never left. The encounter lasts mere seconds. Too brief for anyone to notice it, it leaves you deeply conflicted. The promised London opportunity represents everything your apprenticeship was meant to provide: advancement, experience, a future beyond your village's limitations. Meeting Margaret again risks all of that. As the market concludes and merchants begin dismantling their stalls, Master Fletcher appears satisfied with the day's profits. Pack the remaining goods carefully, he instructs. William, Thomas, once everything is secured at the shop, you may have the evening to yourselves, reward for your hard work these past days. This unexpected freedom resolves your dilemma. After helping return unsold cloth to the shop and counting the day's earnings, you tell William you plan to watch the remaining market entertainers before they depart the city. Enjoy yourself, William replies with a knowing smile. Just ensure you return before curfew bells. Twilight settles over Canterbury as you make your way to the East Gate. Most market vendors have already departed, their carts forming slow processions out of the city. Only a few lingering performers and food sellers remain, catering to citizens reluctant to see the festivities end. Margaret waits in the shadow of the gate tower, her blue cloak pulled close against the evening chill. Relief washes over her face when she sees you. You came, she breathes. I feared you might not. Master Fletcher granted us free time for our market service, you explain, glancing around to ensure no one from the cloth merchant's household observes your meeting. But I cannot stay long. Margaret nods, understanding the risk. Lady Pembroke departs tomorrow for London. She accompanies Lord Hastings' party for protection on the journey. And you travel with her. Yes, we may remain in London until autumn. She hesitates, then adds, I overheard Lady Pembroke discussing business with Master Harwick. She plans to establish connections with cloth merchants there, possibly importing French fabrics directly rather than purchasing through Canterbury middlemen. The information startles you. Such a change could significantly impact Master Fletcher's business, especially his London clients. Why tell me this? Margaret meets your gaze directly. Because you taught me letters when no one else would bother. Because you listened when I spoke of home. Her voice softens. Because you see me as Margaret, not merely a Lady S-maid. Impulsively, you reach for her hand. Master Fletcher speaks of sending me to London in autumn. If it happens, perhaps we might meet there. Her fingers tighten around yours. London is vast, Thomas. Finding each other would be nearly impossible. The Church of St. Mary-le-Bow, you suggest. First Sunday of each month, after morning services. If I come to London, I will wait there. A tentative smile brightens her face. A foolish plan, likely to fail, yet better than no plan at all. From the city centre, bells begin to toll, signalling the evening curfew's approach. You both know your time has ended. I should return, you say reluctantly. As should I. Margaret withdraws her hand from yours. Lady Pembroke will be looking for me. Farewell, Thomas Blackwell. I hope our paths cross again in London. Farewell, Margaret Cooper, you reply, committing her face to memory as she hurries away. Walking back through the emptying streets, you feel both lighter and heavier, hopeful for a future meeting, yet burdened by the secret knowledge about Lady Pembroke's business plans. Should you tell Master Fletcher? The information could help him protect his London trade, but revealing it would expose your forbidden friendship with Margaret. By the time you reach the shop, darkness has fallen completely. You slip inside, nodding respectfully to Master Fletcher, who looks up briefly from his ledgers. Did you enjoy the market's end? He inquires. Yes, master, you answer truthfully. I learned much these past days. He studies you thoughtfully. Good. Tomorrow we return to regular business, but perhaps with new perspectives gained. From the market, that night, as you lie awake listening to William and John's snore, you realize how much has changed since you arrived in Canterbury. The lonely, frightened village boy has begun transforming into someone else, someone who understands commerce and calculation, who knows secrets of noble households, who dreams of London. Whether that transformation leads to prosperity or ruin remains to be seen. But for the first time since leaving home, you feel truly invested in your apprenticeship, not merely enduring it as an obligation to tradition, but embracing it as a path to possibilities your village could never offer. Chapter 5. Secrets and strategies. Summer unfolds across Canterbury in waves of heat and activity. The cathedral's shadow provides welcome relief during midday, when the sun transforms the narrow streets into furnaces. In Master Fletcher's shop, windows remain open despite the risk of dust settling on fine fabrics, as the alternative suffocating in the enclosed space. Probus. For months have passed since the spring market and Margaret's departure. For London, you have heard nothing from her, though you scarcely expected. Two servants rarely have opportunities to send messages, especially to inappropriate recipients like merchant apprentices. Your own circumstances have improved considerably. Master Fletcher, pleased with your progress in reading, writing, and arithmetic, has gradually expanded your responsibilities. You now manage inventory of certain goods, handle transactions with regular customers, and occasionally negotiate with local suppliers under his watchful eye. Your talent for remembering faces and preferences serves you well. He comments one evening as you correctly recall the exact shade of green ribbon a particular customer purchased 3 weeks prior. A merchant must know not only his goods, but the desires of those who might buy them. The potential London journey remains a tantalizing possibility, mentioned occasionally by Master Fletcher, but never confirmed. You work diligently to prove your worthiness for the assignment. studying accounts late into the night and practicing your penmanship until your fingers cramp. On a sweltering July afternoon, a messenger arrives bearing a sealed letter for Master Fletcher. You recognize the seal, the same that marked Master Harwick's correspondence. The messenger, dusty from travel, appears to have ridden hard. From London, he announces, importantly, Master Harwick requires a prompt reply. Master Fletcher breaks the seal immediately, his expression growing grave as he reads. Without explanation, he retreats to his counting room, instructing you to mind the shop while William escorts the messenger to the kitchen for refreshment. When William returns, he leans close. The messenger says trade in London has been disrupted. Some merchants found themselves unable to fulfill contracts after their expected cloth shipments from France failed to arrive. You think immediately of Margaret's warning about Lady Pembroke's plan to import French fabrics directly. Had the noblewoman somehow interfered with established trade routes? Did he mention which merchants were affected? You ask casually. William shakes his head. He knows little beyond what concerns Master Harwick. But he mentioned King Henry has restricted certain imports due to renewed tensions with France. Politics again intersecting with commerce, just as Master Fletcher had explained. You wonder how these distant decisions by nobles and royalty ripple outward, affecting livelihoods throughout the kingdom. Master Fletcher emerges from his counting room an hour later, his face betraying nothing of his thoughts. He hands William a sealed reply for the messenger, then turns to you. Thomas, prepare your best clothing. We depart for London in 2 days. Your heart leaps. London, master. Yes, urgent business requires my personal attention. I had not planned to bring an apprentice, but your knowledge of our inventory and customers may prove useful. 2 days later, you find yourself perched atop a cart laden with Master Fletcher's finest cloth samples, travelling the London road alongside your master and a hired guard. The journey, normally undertaken over 3 days, must be completed, due to the urgency of the situation. Canterbury's position has always been advantageous, Master Fletcher explains as you pass through villages and farmlands. Situated between London and the Channel ports, we intercept goods flowing both ways. But this advantage becomes vulnerability when either London or the continent alters its patterns. You listen attentively, gradually understanding that Master Fletcher's business extends far beyond the shop in Canterbury. He has arrangements with merchants throughout Kent, partnerships with traders in London, and connections to importers who bring goods from France, Flanders, and Italy. The cloth trade is built on relationships and trust, he continues. Disruptions like this current situation test both. As darkness falls on the first day, you stop at a roadside inn crowded with other travellers. The common room buzzes with conversations about London, most concerning the King's health and rumours of French ships being turned away from English ports. Master Fletcher secures a private corner table, motioning for you to join him after the evening meal has been served. From his travel pouch, he produces a small ledger. Our London connections, he explains, opening the book to reveal lists of names, addresses, and notations. Memorize them tonight. Tomorrow, I will test your recall. You study the information diligently, committing to memory the locations of warehouses near the Thames, the names of Master Fletcher's most important London clients, and the marks, indicating their typical purchases and credit arrangements. The next morning dawns grey and drizzly. You recite the memorized information to Master Fletcher's satisfaction as the cart rumbles onward. By midday, the road grows increasingly crowded, with travellers, merchants, and farmers bringing goods to London's hungry markets. We approach the city, Master Fletcher announces unnecessarily as the distant walls of London appear through the mist. Nothing in your life has prepared you for the sight that greets you as the cart passes through London's gates. Canterbury, which once seemed enormous compared to your village, now appears quaint and provincial beside the sprawling metropolis. Streets stretch in all directions, teeming with more people than you thought possible in one place. Buildings rise 3 and 4 stories high, leaning toward each other across narrow lanes where vendors shout their wares and apprentices scurry on errands. Most overwhelming is the noisy constant roar of humanity that makes Canterbury's market day seem peaceful by comparison. Everywhere you look, activity unfolds, porters straining under impossible loads, nobles on horseback forcing paths through the crowd, children darting between stalls, monks and friars collecting alms, beggars displaying grotesque injuries to elicit sympathy. Keep your wits about you, Master Fletcher warns. London devours the distracted and unprepared. The cart winds through the maze of streets until reaching a modest inn near Cheapside London's main market street and centre of the cloth trade. Master Fletcher is clearly known here. The innkeeper greets him by name and immediately offers his best available room. You have arrived at a tumultuous time, Master Fletcher, the innkeeper informs him as servants unload the cloth. Samples. 3 French merchants were arrested yesterday, accused of smuggling. The Mercers' Guild has called an emergency meeting for tomorrow. Master Fletcher frowns at this news. Is Master Willoughby still guild warden? Indeed, though rumour suggests he may soon be replaced. His health fails, and his son lacks his judgment. After securing the cloth samples and refreshing yourselves, Master Fletcher leads you directly to Cheapside. The street exceeds even your wildest imaginings, a riot of commerce unlike anything in Canterbury. Shops of every description line both sides, their upper stories jutting outward until they nearly touch above the crowded thoroughfare. Signs depicting merchant specialties swing overhead, while apprentices stand in doorways calling out to potential customers. Master Fletcher moves purposefully toward a substantial building with a carved wooden sign showing shears and a bolt of cloth. Master Harwick's London establishment, he explains, larger than his Canterbury house and considerably more profitable. Inside, the shop bustles with activity. Well-dressed customers examine fabrics displayed on tables, while apprentices, older than yourself, rush to fulfill requests. An imposing man with a silver-streaked beard directs operations from behind a counter laden with account books. Fletcher, the man exclaims, upon noticing your master, you made good time. Come through to the back. You follow Master Fletcher past the sales floor into a well-appointed office, where Master Harwick dismisses his clerk with a wave and closes the door firmly. The situation worsens daily, he announces without preamble. 5 shipments seized at Dover last week. French merchants claim ignorance of any new restrictions, but their goods are impounded nonetheless. Master Fletcher's expression reveals nothing, and our arrangement threatened, certainly. Master Harwick produces a document bearing several seals. New proclamation from the King's Council. All French imports must now pass through additional inspection and pay increased duties. The stated reason is preventing smuggled goods, but the effect cripples legitimate trade. Lady Pembroke's involvement, Master Fletcher inquires, causing your pulse to quicken at the familiar name. Master Harwick raises an eyebrow. Your intelligence network functions well. Yes, she has positioned herself favorably. Her brother-in-law sits on the King's Council and reportedly championed these new restrictions. Meanwhile, she has established a warehouse near the tower, ostensibly for storing household goods, but actually for cloth. Master Fletcher concludes, precisely, she arranged permission to import limited quantities for household use, exempt from the new restrictions. A household that apparently requires enough Flemish wool and French silk to clothe half of London's nobility. You listen in amazement, piecing together the implications. Lady Pembroke had used her connections to create artificial scarcity, driving up prices for goods she could still import under special privilege. The warning Margaret provided months ago had proven accurate, though you could not have imagined the scale of the noblewoman's scheme, and the Mercers' Guild permits this circumvention. Master Fletcher asks. Master Harwick sighs heavily. The guild warden hesitates to challenge nobility directly. Several influential members have already arranged to purchase from Lady Pembroke, rather than wait for regular channels to reopen. The conversation continues as the two merchants discuss potential responses, legal appeals to the guild, direct petitions to other council members, alternative sourcing from Flemish merchants less affected by the restrictions. You remain silent, but attentive, absorbing the complex interplay of commerce, politics, and personal relationships that shapes London's cloth trade. As evening approaches, Master Harwick invites you both to dine at his home. My wife would never forgive me if I failed to extend hospitality. Besides, several guild members will attend. Useful conversations might develop. Master Fletcher accepts graciously. Before departing the shop, he draws you aside. You will accompany us, Thomas. Observe everything. Speak only when addressed directly, and remember all you hear. Tomorrow, you will record the key points of each conversation. During the walk to Master Harwick's London residence, grand 3-story home in a fashionable district, your master provides critical context about the dinner guests. Master Willoughby, the guild warden, values tradition above all else. Master Atwood represents the younger merchants, eager for change but respectful of established practices. And watch for Master Crompton, who often remains quiet but whose opinion carries significant weight. Master Harwick's home impresses even after the grandeur of Cheapside. Servants in household livery open doors and take cloaks, while candles in silver holders illuminate rooms furnished with carved tables, tapestries, and cushioned chairs that speak of substantial wealth. The dinner gathering includes 8 merchants and their wives, arranged around a table laden with roasted meats, imported wines, and delicacies you cannot even name. You sit at the far end, beside Master Harwick's apprentice, a solemn young man named Richard, who seems eager to demonstrate his knowledge. Master Harwick imported those salt cellars from Venice. He informs you quietly, indicating the intricate silver containers placed at intervals along the table. And the tapestry depicting the hunting scene cost more than most merchants earn. In 2 years, the meal progresses through multiple courses, the conversation initially focusing on innocuous topics, the unusually warm summer, a recent civic celebration, the quality of the wine. Only after the women withdraw to another room does the discussion turn to business. These new restrictions cannot stand, declares a ruddy-faced merchant you identify as Master Atwood. French imports represent nearly 1/3 of London's cloth trade. Already prices rise unsustainably. Master Willoughby, the elderly guild warden, stirs his wine thoughtfully. Challenging royal proclamations directly invites unwelcome attention. the guild must consider carefully before acting. While we consider, Master Atwood counters, Lady Pembroke and her associates profit handsomely from their exemptions. At the mention of Lady Pembroke, you focus intently, careful to keep your expression neutral as you had observed Master Fletcher do during difficult negotiations. Is it confirmed that she imports for commercial purposes rather than household use? Asks a thin, sharp-featured man Master Crompton, you realize from Fletcher's description. Master Harwick clears his throat. My sources report quantities far exceeding any reasonable household requirements. Yet her brother-in-law's position makes direct accusation problematic. Throughout the discussion, Master Fletcher remains largely silent, occasionally asking clarifying questions that guide the conversation without revealing his own thoughts. You admire his strategy gathering information while committing to nothing. Only when coffee is served in expensive luxury that signifies Master Harwick's wealth and connections does your master finally offer his perspective. The issue extends beyond Lady Pembroke, he states, drawing all attention. These restrictions, whatever their stated purpose, fundamentally alter established trade patterns. The question becomes not how to circumvent them temporarily, but how to adapt, should they persist. A murmur of consideration follows this observation. Master Crompton nods slightly. Canterbury's position offers certain advantages in this regard. You maintain connections with smaller channel ports less rigorously monitored than Dover or London. Master Fletcher neither confirms nor denies this implication. All merchants must explore alternative arrangements when traditional channels falter. The guild should hear your full assessment, Master Willoughby decides. Tomorrow's meeting would benefit from perspectives beyond London. As the gathering concludes and you walk back to the inn through London's dangerous nighttime streets, Master Fletcher appears satisfied. Useful connections reinforced, he comments, and new possibilities identified. Will you speak at the guild meeting? You venture to ask. Yes, though carefully. London politics resembles quicksand. The unwary sink quickly. He glances at you appraisingly. Did you note Master Crompton's interest in Canterbury's port connections? Yes, Master. And do you understand the opportunity his interest represents? You consider before answering. Smaller ports might allow imports to continue despite restrictions. With Canterbury serving as a distribution point for London merchants, Master Fletcher nods approvingly. Precisely. Tomorrow, while I attend the guild meeting, you will visit Master Crompton's warehouse with samples of our finest goods, not to sell, but to establish connection. At the inn, exhausted from travel and the overwhelming stimulation of London, you struggle to organize your thoughts before sleep claims you. The city's vastness makes finding Margaret seem impossible. Yet tomorrow represents your first chance to fulfill your promise. The Church of St. Marylebone after morning services. Could you complete Master Fletcher's errand to Master Crompton and still search for Margaret without arousing suspicion? The risk seems enormous, the potential consequences severe, yet the opportunity to honor your promise, to discover what has become of the girl who warned you of Lady Pembroke's schemes, proves too compelling to ignore. Tomorrow, you decide as sleep finally overtakes you, you will attempt both tasks, duty to your master and fidelity to your friend, and pray that London's vastness works in your favor rather than against it. Chapter 6. London Labyrinth, Morning. Bells jolt you awake, their cacophony unlike Canterbury's more measured tones. London, you quickly discover, does not simply awaken, it erupts into activity, as though the brief night merely interrupted its perpetual motion rather than truly pausing it. Master Fletcher has already departed for an early meeting before the official guild gathering, leaving instructions for you to deliver the selected cloth samples to Master Crompton's warehouse near Thames Street by midday. The responsibility both frightens and exhilarates you. Navigating London's maze alone represents both significant trust from your master and considerable danger to yourself. After a hasty breakfast, you carefully pack the samples, including a particularly fine Italian silk damask that Master Fletcher acquired at great expense specifically to impress London merchants. The innkeeper provides directions to Thames Street, along with warnings about neighborhoods to avoid and streets notorious for cut purses. Stepping into London's morning bustle feels like plunging into a rushing river. Bodies press from all sides as apprentices, servants, laborers, and merchants flood the streets. Street vendors already call their wares hot pies, ale, ribbons, and countless other goods. The noise, the smells of unwashed bodies mingled with cooking food and river stink. The constant jostling all combine to create sensory overload that leaves you momentarily disoriented. You force yourself to focus, remembering the landmarks the innkeeper described. St. Paul's Cathedral rises in the distance, its massive tower providing a reference point. Keeping the cathedral to your right, you navigate toward Cheapside, then, beyond to Thames Street, clutching your precious bundle of samples close to prevent theft. The journey takes longer than expected, as you twice make wrong turns in the confusing warren of streets. When you finally locate Master Crompton's warehouse identified by a painted sign showing 3 barrels, nearly 2 hours have passed. If you hope to reach St. Marylebone after services, you must complete this business quickly. A burly porter blocks the warehouse entrance, eyeing you suspiciously. State your business, boy. You straighten your posture, adopting the confident manner you've observed in Master Fletcher. Thomas Blackwell, apprentice to Master Fletcher of Canterbury, with samples for Master Crompton as discussed last evening at Master Harwick's residence. The formal phrasing and specific references achieve their purpose. The porter nods and gestures you inside, where the cavernous space bustles with activity. Workers roll barrels, carry stacked cloth bolts, and record inventory on slate tablets. The scale dwarfs Master Fletcher's operation, making his prosperous Canterbury business seem modest by comparison. A clerk approaches, introducing himself as Master Crompton's assistant. "The master expected you earlier," he says, with mild disapproval. "Follow me." You are led through the warehouse to a small office where Master Crompton sits, examining ledgers. He looks up as you enter, his sharp features even more pronounced in daylight. "Ah, Fletcher's apprentice. Thomas, was it?" "Yes, master." "Crompton, I bring samples, as discussed." You unwrap the bundle carefully, displaying the cloths on his desk. Master Crompton examines each fabric methodically, his expression revealing nothing. When he reaches the Italian damask, however, his fingers linger on the intricate pattern. "Impressive Venetian work, I believe." "Florentine, Master Crompton. Master Fletcher acquired it through his Italian connections last winter." A slight nod acknowledges the correction. "And similar goods could reach Canterbury despite current complications at Dover." The question contains the true purpose of this meeting. You recall Master Fletcher's careful phrasing at dinner and respond similarly. Master Fletcher maintains diverse shipping arrangements. Canterbury's position offers certain advantages during disruptions. Master Crompton's thin lips curve into the barest smile. Indeed, convey to your master that I would welcome further discussion when the guild meeting concludes. We might arrange dinner at my home this evening. Relief washes through you, mission accomplished without overstepping your authority. After carefully rewrapping the samples, you are escorted out of the warehouse. Checking the position of the sun, you estimate you have perhaps an hour before you should return to the inn to await Master Fletcher. Enough time to reach St. Mary-le-Bow. If you hurry, the church proves difficult to find in the bewildering labyrinth of London streets. Twice you must ask directions, presenting yourself as a merchant's apprentice with a message to deliver near the church. Finally, the distinctive bow-shaped arches of the church's tower come into view, rising above surrounding buildings. Services have recently concluded. Worshippers stream from the main doors as you approach. You position yourself near the entrance, scanning each face for Margaret. Minutes pass as the crowd thins. Disappointment begins to settle in your chest. Perhaps she could not get away from Lady Pembroke's household, or maybe you misunderstood the arrangement entirely. Then, just as you prepare to abandon your vigil, a hooded figure emerges from a side entrance. Even before she lowers her hood slightly, you recognize Margaret's movements, the particular way she carries herself. "Thomas," she exclaims softly upon seeing you. "You came to London, after all." Joy surges through you at the sight of her familiar face, a connection to Canterbury amid London's overwhelming strangeness. Master Fletcher's business required it. We arrived only yesterday. Margaret glances nervously around the churchyard. "I can remain only briefly. Lady Pembroke attends a social gathering nearby, but will require my presence soon." You move to a secluded corner near the church wall, where stone benches provide seating for elderly parishioners. "How has London treated you?" you ask, noting changes in her appearance, finer clothing than she wore in Canterbury, her hair arranged more elaborately beneath her hood. Lady Pembroke's London household is larger, the work more varied. Margaret replies, "I serve as her personal attendant now, rather than a general housemaid. The promotion came after." She hesitates. "After what?" She lowers her voice further. "After I mentioned overhearing certain merchants discussing ways to circumvent the new import restrictions. Lady Pembroke values such information highly. The implication strikes you forcefully. You are her informant." Margaret's expression hardened slightly. "I am a servant seeking advancement, Thomas." Lady Pembroke rewards loyalty generously. She softens, touching your arm briefly. "But I have not forgotten our friendship. When I learned of Master Harwick's message to Canterbury, I hoped Master Fletcher might come himself. You knew. The message contained warnings about Lady Pembroke's activities. I suspected. The restrictions have created chaos among merchants, but Lady Pembroke's arrangements proceed smoothly. Her warehouse near the tower receives shipments weekly. This confirms Master Harwick's intelligence, but adds new questions. How does she'll manage it when other merchants cannot import goods? Margaret hesitates again, clearly weighing how much to reveal. Her brother-in-law's influence ensures minimal inspection of her shipments, and there is talk of marriage negotiations between her nephew and a French merchant's daughter, alliance through family connection. The political dimensions of Lady Pembroke's strategy become clearer. Not merely commercial opportunism, but calculated relationship building to secure long-term advantage. Master Fletcher attends the Mercers' Guild meeting today. You tell her. They discuss responses to these restrictions. Lady Pembroke anticipates resistance. Margaret admits she has already secured support from several guild members. Through preferential access to her imports, She glances toward the church tower, where a bell signals the half. I must return soon. Will we meet again while I remain in London? How long do you stay? I am uncertain. Master Fletcher's business may require days or weeks. Margaret considers this. I accompany Lady Pembroke to St. Paul's Cathedral for special prayers each Wednesday morning. Afterward, while she meets with her confessor, I am sent to purchase sweetmeats from a specific shop near the west door. 3 days from now, you calculate aloud. Yes, if you happen to visit the cathedral that morning. She leaves the suggestion unspoken but clear. The church bell rings again, signaling her departure is overdue. Margaret rises quickly. Be careful, Thomas. Lady Pembroke knows Master Fletcher opposes her trading advantages. His apprentice would not be welcome in her household. I understand. Thank you for the warning and for meeting me. She smiles briefly. Perhaps London offers more possibilities than Canterbury for both of us. With that cryptic comment, she pulls her hood forward and hurries away, soon disappearing into the steady flow of Londoners. You wait several minutes before leaving the church grounds, considering the implications of this conversation. Margaret's position as Lady Pembroke's informant complicates matters significantly. Can you trust her entirely? Her warning seemed genuine, yet her loyalty clearly lies with her mistress, at least outwardly. The trip back to the inn takes longer than expected, as an overturned cart blocks one street, forcing a detour through an unfamiliar neighborhood. When you finally arrive, Master Fletcher has already returned, his expression severe. Where have you been? He demands. I returned an hour ago to find neither you nor any message explaining your absence. Forgive me, Master, you respond, heart racing. After delivering the samples to Master Crompton, I became lost while returning. London's streets confused me. Not entirely a lie, though far from the complete truth. You quickly relay Master Crompton's inspection of the samples and dinner invitation to divert attention from your tardiness. Master Fletcher's annoyance visibly diminishes at this news. Excellent. Crompton's support would prove valuable indeed. He studies you closely. His response to the Italian damask, he recognized its quality immediately, though he mistook it for Venetian work. This detail satisfies your master. Few can distinguish the regional variations. Your correction was appropriate. He gestures to a small table where papers have been arranged. Now, record your observations from last night's dinner conversations. Be thorough but concise. For the next hour, you write carefully, detailing the positions and connections of each merchant present at Master Harwick's dinner. The task requires complete concentration, preventing your mind from dwelling on Margaret and the complexities her information presents. When you finish, Master Fletcher reviews your work with surprising approval. Your observations match mine. In most respects, you noted Master Atwood's impatience and Master Willoughby's caution correctly. He sets the papers aside. The guild meeting proved informative, if not immediately productive. Has the guild decided how to respond to the restrictions? They remain divided. Some favor direct petition to the King's Council. Others suggest working through noble patrons unconnected to Lady Pembroke's circle. Master Fletcher's expression turns contemplative. I presented Canterbury's potential as an alternative import channel without explicitly offering such services. The suggestion alone increased our standing considerably. That evening, you accompany Master Fletcher to Master Crompton's home, well-appointed residence near the river, smaller than Master Harwick's, but decorated with objects that suggest extensive foreign connections. Exotic carved figures from Africa stand alongside delicate porcelain from distant China. Maps covering entire walls display trade routes stretching across known and unknown worlds. The dinner proves intimate only Master Crompton, his wife, Master Fletcher, and yourself in attendance. After the meal, Master Crompton dismisses the servants and invites you all to a private study where he uncorks a bottle of excellent French wine. The situation grows more restrictive daily. He informs Master Fletcher after they exchange pleasantries. This morning, another French vessel was turned away from London's docks without even allowing inspection of its cargo. Yet Lady Pembroke's shipments continue unhindered, Master Fletcher observes. Master Crompton's wife, a formidable woman whose shrewd eyes suggest full partnership in her husband's business, joins the conversation. Her latest delivery arrived yesterday, 5 large crates marked as household furnishings, but undoubtedly containing textiles. You have observed her warehouse directly? Master Fletcher inquires. We own property nearby, Master Crompton explains. Convenient for monitoring activities at the river docks. The conversation progresses to specific arrangements. How Canterbury might receive goods through smaller ports. How these imports might then reach London. Merchants through channels less scrutinized than the main roads from Dover. You listen attentively, recognizing that you witness the formation of a significant trading alliance. Near midnight, as the evening concludes, Master Crompton takes you aside briefly while Master Fletcher speaks with his wife about continental fashions. You show promise, young Thomas, the London merchant remarks. Fletcher chooses his apprentices. Well, should you ever seek advancement in London rather than Canterbury, remember my name. The offer startles you an implied future beyond your apprenticeship, beyond even Master Fletcher's business. Thank you, Master Crompton. I am honored by your notice. Sharp minds recognize each other, he replies simply before rejoining. The others, walking back to the inn through torchlit streets, Master Fletcher appears deeply satisfied. Crompton commits significant resources to our arrangement. Canterbury's importance will grow substantially. Will we return home soon to prepare? You ask, thinking of the shop and William managing alone. No, matters here require further attention. I have dispatched a messenger to William with instructions. Master Fletcher gives you a significant look. Your performance today has confirmed my initial assessment of your potential. The London journey I mentioned months ago. Consider this its beginning rather than a temporary visit. Elation and anxiety battle within you. Extended time in London means more opportunity to meet Margaret, to understand the complex trade politics unfolding, to experience the heart of England's commerce. Yet it also means increased risk of discovery should your forbidden friendship become known. That night, lying on an unfamiliar pallet in London's cacophonous darkness, you realize your life has reached a crossroads far sooner than expected. The path of dedicated apprentice leading to respectable merchant beckons clearly, illuminated by Master Fletcher's approval and Master Crompton's notice. The other path, friendship with Margaret, sympathy for her precarious position, curiosity about Lady Pembroke's schemes remains shadowed and dangerous, yet somehow equally compelling. Can you walk both paths simultaneously without disaster? London's vastness might provide cover for your meetings with Margaret, but her position in Lady Pembroke's household creates inevitable conflict with your master's interests, as sleep finally claims you. One certainty emerges from your swirling thoughts. The exchange that sent you from your village into apprenticeship has led to exchanges far more complex and consequential than tradition ever intended. Chapter 7. Dangerous Alliances. 2 weeks after your arrival in London, Master Fletcher's business shows no signs of concluding. The temporary visit has transformed into an extended stay, with your master now renting rooms in a respectable house near St. Paul's Cathedral rather than continuing at the inn. Your responsibilities have grown accordingly. You now represent Master Fletcher at smaller meetings with merchants, maintain correspondence with William in Canterbury, and keep meticulous records of all London transactions. Your handwriting has improved considerably, Master Fletcher remarks one morning, reviewing a letter you prepared for his signature. Clear penmanship reflects clear thinking, a quality merchants must cultivate. His approval warms you despite the cool autumn air seeping through the windows. September has arrived with morning mists that cling to London's streets, transforming the city into something mysterious and slightly sinister until the sun burns through by midday. You have met Margaret twice more since your initial London encounter, brief conversations near St. Paul's as she completes errands for Lady Pembroke. These meetings, though dangerous, provide critical information about the noble woman's expanding commercial activities and political connections. She now imports not only French textiles, but Italian glass and Spanish leather. Margaret informed you during your last meeting. Her warehouse operates almost as a merchant house, though she maintains the fiction of personal imports. This intelligence, carefully reframed as rumors heard at the market, you have passed to Master Fletcher, who values your ear for useful gossip without suspecting its source. The information helps him position Canterbury's emerging role as an alternative import channel, working with Master Crompton and a growing alliance of London merchants frustrated by the continuing restrictions. Today brings your deepest venture yet into London's commercial politics. Master Fletcher has instructed you to attend a meeting of junior merchants and senior apprentices at a tavern near Eastchipper, gathering ostensibly for social purposes, but actually serving as an unofficial extension of guild discussions. Listen more than you speak, he advises as you prepare to depart. These younger merchants often know details their masters overlook. Note particularly any mention of Dutch traders. Suspect some have begun offering alternative routes for French goods. The tavern, called the Golden Fleece, occupies the ground floor of a timber-framed building with a steeply pitched roof. Inside, the main room buzzes with conversation, the air thick with pipe smoke and the smell of ale. You identify your target, gathering in a back corner about a dozen young men engaged in animated discussion. Richard, Master Harwick's apprentice, whom you met at dinner your first night in London, notices your entrance and waves you over. Thomas, join us. We discuss the latest absurdity from the tower. You squeeze onto a bench beside him, accepting a tankard of ale pushed your way. What absurdity is that? 3 Dutch ships were seized yesterday, explains a young merchant wearing the distinctive badge of a Draper's Guild member, supposedly carrying contraband French goods disguised as Flemish. Were they, you ask, recalling Master Fletcher's suspicions about Dutch involvement? The young man snorts derisively. Perhaps, but the interesting part is who reported them. He leans forward, lowering his voice. Lady Pembroke's steward was seen speaking with port officials the previous evening. This pattern Lady Pembroke undermining potential competition with what Margaret has told you about her mistress's methods. You listen as the conversation flows around you, gathering valuable details about which trading houses suffer most under the restrictions, which seek alternative arrangements, and which have aligned themselves with Lady Pembroke's interests. Master Crompton seems to weather the shortages better than most, Richard observes, glancing at you meaningfully. As does your master, from what I hear. You respond carefully, conscious of representing Master Fletcher appropriately. Canterbury's position offers certain advantages during difficult times. A burly apprentice from another table leans into your conversation. Advantages? You mean smuggling, plain and simple. Everyone knows Canterbury merchants ignore the king's proclamations. The accusation hangs dangerously in the air. Illegal import of goods to avoid restrictions or taxation carries penalties, including imprisonment and confiscation of all merchandise. Your face remains carefully neutral, adopting the same measured expression you have observed in Master Fletcher during difficult negotiations. Canterbury merchants maintain diverse trade relationships built over generations. You reply evenly. These legitimate connections simply provide flexibility during temporary disruptions. Richard intervenes smoothly, redirecting the conversation. Speaking of disruptions, has anyone heard about Master Willoughby's sudden retirement as guild warden? Health concerns, officially, but rumours suggest pressure from certain noble interests. The burly apprentice's attention shifts to this. New topic, the dangerous accusation temporarily forgotten. You catch Richard's eye and nod slightly in gratitude for his timely intervention. As the afternoon progresses, you gather valuable information while contributing minimally to the discussions. When merchants' sons begin arriving from nearby legal training at the Inns of Court, the conversation evolves to include political gossip from Westminster and the Royal Court. You listen with particular attention when they mention Lord Hastings, Lady Pembroke's connection to the King's council. His influence wanes, declares a foppishly dressed young lawyer in training. The King's illness makes the council increasingly fractious. New alliances form weekly. This explains Lady Pembroke's accelerated importing activities. She exploits her advantage, while her brother-in-law still holds power. The political instability also suggests why Master Fletcher extends your London stay. He positions Canterbury to benefit regardless of which faction ultimately prevails. As dusk approaches, you make your excuses, needing to return before darkness makes London's streets even more dangerous. Richard walks out with you. Careful with young Morris, he warns, referring to the burly apprentice who made the smuggling. Accusation. His master has aligned completely with Lady Pembroke's interests. The accusation was no accident. Thank you for the diversion, you respond, and the warning. Richard glances around before continuing in a lower voice. Master Harwick and Master Fletcher's arrangements have not gone unnoticed. Lady Pembroke has informants throughout the city. Watch yourself, Thomas. The warning unsettles you as you navigate back through London's labyrinthine streets. Margaret had mentioned Lady Pembroke's network of informants, but hearing it confirmed independently elevates the danger significantly. Could Margaret herself be reporting your meetings to her mistress? The possibility, though painful to consider, cannot be dismissed entirely. When you return to the rented rooms, you find Master Fletcher in conversation with an unexpected visitor, Master Crompton, whose expression appears grave. Ah, Thomas. Master Fletcher greets you. Timely return. Master Crompton brings concerning news. My warehouse was visited by Tower officials this afternoon. The London merchant explains without preamble. They examined my ledgers and questioned my clerks about recent shipments from Canterbury. Your pulse quickens. Did they find anything objectionable? Fortunately, no. All documentation shows proper inspection and taxation at appropriate ports. Master Crompton's gaze sharpens. However, They mentioned receiving specific allegations about Canterbury cloth circumventing official channels. Master Fletcher's expression reveals nothing, but you note his hands clasping more tightly. The timing seems significant. Just yesterday, our first major shipment arrived via the new arrangements. Indeed, Master Crompton turns to you. Thomas, did you speak of our business arrangements at the Golden Fleece today? Startled that he already knows your whereabouts, you answer truthfully, no, Master Crompton, though a merchant's apprentice named Morris suggested Canterbury merchants might engage in smuggling. I denied it, of course. The two older merchants exchanged significant glances. Maurice serves Master Phillips, Master Crompton explains, who recently secured exclusive distribution rights for Lady Pembroke's French imports. A coordinated effort, then, Master Fletcher concludes. Accusation at the tavern, inspection at the warehouse, probably followed by increased scrutiny of Canterbury shipments. The realization strikes you forcefully. You have been followed, your movements monitored. The meeting at the Golden Fleece, intended for information gathering, instead exposed Master Fletcher's operations to hostile observation. We must accelerate our timeline, Master Crompton decides. The larger shipment planned for next month should move immediately, before additional restrictions are implemented. Master Fletcher nods agreement. Thomas, tomorrow you return to Canterbury with instructions for William. The preparations must begin at once. The sudden change of plans catches you off guard. Return to Canterbury, alone. Yes, you know both our inventory and our new arrangements. William requires detailed guidance to prepare the shipment. Properly, Master Fletcher's tone leaves no room for argument. You depart at first light with letters of instruction and authorization to act in my name. After Master Crompton departs, your master elaborates on your mission. The journey requires 2 days on horseback, faster than our arrival by cart. Take the Dover road, but remain vigilant. The letters you carry would prove valuable to Lady Pembroke's agents. The responsibility weighs heavily. Will you remain in London, Master? Temporarily? Master Crompton and I must secure additional allies before opposition grows stronger. He studies you thoughtfully. This mission demonstrates my trust in you, Thomas. Few apprentices receive such responsibility after less than a year as service. Pride mingles with anxiety as you prepare for the journey. The abrupt departure means no opportunity to inform Margaret or arrange future contact. During your last meeting, she mentioned returning to Canterbury with Lady Pembroke for Christmas festivities, more than 3 months away. Sleep proves elusive. That night, beyond the immediate concerns about the dangerous journey and Margaret's absence, deeper questions trouble you. Has your friendship with her inadvertently exposed Master Fletcher's business to Lady Pembroke's scrutiny? Could your actions have contributed to the suspicions now threatening the Canterbury-London trading alliance? Morning arrives with steady rain that promises a miserable journey. Master Fletcher provides final instructions, along with a purse, containing travelling money and a small knife to conceal in your boot. Trust no one on the road, he warns as you mount the horse. He has procured a sturdy brown gelding with more endurance than speed. If threatened, surrender the horse and visible valuables, but preserve the letters at all costs. They are sewn into your cloak lining here and here. He indicates hidden pockets you had not noticed when donning the new garment. With a final handshake more suited to equals than master and apprentice, he sends you on your way. The London streets, slick with rain and early morning filth, gradually give way to the southeastern road toward Canterbury and Dover. By midday, the city disappears behind you, the landscape opening into rolling farmland interspersed with small villages and occasional forests. The rain continues relentlessly. Your cloak, though well made, eventually surrenders to the persistent moisture. By evening, when you reach a roadside inn recommended by Master Fletcher, you shiver uncontrollably despite the relatively mild autumn temperature. You'll want hot food and a place near the fire, the innkeeper observes as you hand over coins for lodging. Traveling alone in this weather is a fool's errand. My master's business requires haste, you explain, gratefully accepting the bowl of stew and mug of ale he provides. The common room houses several other travellers, a merchant and his son journeying to London, an elderly friar returning to his monastery near Canterbury, and a group of labourers seeking employment. At Dover's docks, you listen to their conversations without contributing. As Master Fletcher advised, learning useful details about road conditions and recent bandit activity. When the merchant mentions his acquaintance with Master Harwick, you feel a momentary temptation to introduce yourself. The connection might provide additional security for your journey, but Master Fletcher's warning about trusting no one prevails. You maintain your anonymity, presenting yourself as a messenger rather than an apprentice entrusted with significant business matters. Morning brings clearing skies but muddy roads that slow your progress considerably. Twice you must detour around flooded sections where rainwater has overwhelmed drainage ditches. By mid-afternoon, when you should have covered more than half the distance to Canterbury, you estimate you have managed barely a third of the journey. You will not reach Canterbury today, the friar confirms when you encounter him resting beside the road. Best find lodging in the next village. These roads grow treacherous after dark, especially for solitary travellers. The advice, though unwelcome, proves sound. You secure the last available bed at a humble establishment catering primarily to farm workers rather than travellers. The accommodations lack the relative comfort of the previous night. In your pallet sits in a corner of the common sleeping area, and the food consists of coarse bread and thin pottage butt. The price reflects these limitations. You rise before dawn, determined to reach Canterbury by nightfall despite the challenging conditions. The early start pays dividends as you make good progress before other travellers appear on the road. By noon, familiar landmarks emerge, rolling hills and distinctive church spires that indicate Canterbury lies perhaps 3 hours ahead. Rounding a bend in the road, you encounter an unexpected obstacle. A cart with a broken wheel blocks the narrowest section of the path. 3 men attend to the apparent repairs, but something about their positioning triggers your caution. They have stationed themselves to prevent easy passage around the disabled vehicle. As you approach slowly, one man straightens and waves. "Ho, traveller, lend a hand with this wheel, would you? We'll have the road cleared in no time with another pair of arms." The request seems reasonable enough, yet instinct warns against stopping. You recall stories of highway robberies beginning with precisely such scenarios, stranded travellers requesting aid, only to surround and overwhelm the helpful passerby. "I regret I cannot delay," you call back, guiding your horse toward the edge of the road where a narrow gap might permit passage. "My master's business in Canterbury cannot wait." The man's expression hardens. "Your master would expect Christian charity. Boy, dismount and assist us." The commanding tone confirms your suspicions. These are no ordinary travellers. As you nudge your horse forward, attempting to squeeze past the cart, one man moves deliberately into your path while another circles behind you. "The horse and your purse," demands the first man, now openly threatening as he draws a short blade from his belt. Surrender them quietly and continue to Canterbury on foot, or resist and never arrive at all. Fear surges through you, yet amid the terror, Master Fletcher's training asserts itself. You assess the situation with forced clarity. 3 opponents, at least one armed, positioned to prevent escape. The letters sewn into your cloak matter more than the horse or visible valuables. Take the horse, you agree, beginning to dismount slowly. And my purse contains little enough, but yours for the taking. The apparent compliance seems to satisfy them. The armed man approaches to claim the reins, while his accomplice reaches for your purse. In that moment of divided attention, you act decisively, sliding completely from the saddle, but then slapping the horse's flank forcefully while yanking the reins from the surprised robber's grasp. The startled animal bolts forward, knocking aside the man in its path. You use the momentary chaos to sprint for the roadside ditch and the small woodland beyond. Behind you, curses and shouts erupt as the robbers recover from their surprise. After him, fools. He carries more than coin, I wager. The words confirm your deepest fear. This was no random robbery, but a targeted interception. Someone knew your route and purpose, dispatching these men to obtain Master Fletcher's letters. Years of village games serve you well as you crash through underbrush, instinctively choosing paths difficult for pursuers to follow. You hear them thrashing. After you, their larger frames struggling to navigate obstacles you slip past. The chase continues for perhaps 10 minutes before the sounds of pursuit fade, your youth and desperation providing the necessary advantage. When silence finally surrounds you, you pause to assess your situation. The horse is lost, along with your visible traveling money. The hidden letters remain secure in your cloak, but night approaches and Canterbury still lies hours away on foot. Worse, returning to the road risks encountering the robbers again. Gathering your courage, you make your decision. You must reach Canterbury by travelling parallel to the road, but remaining within the cover of trees and hedgerows. The journey will take considerably longer, but security outweighs speed at this point. As dusk darkens into night, the familiar silhouette of Canterbury Cathedral appears on the horizon, its towers visible above surrounding buildings. Relief floods through you. Though challenges remain, you must enter the city after curfew. Reach Master Fletcher's shop and convince the night watchman of your identity. The city gates stand closed when you finally approach, as expected. However, years of living in Canterbury provided knowledge of alternatives. A small postern gate, occasionally left unlocked for late-returning merchants who paid the right guards. You make your way there, hoping the arrangement continues in your absence. Fortune favors you at last. The small gate yields to your push, allowing entry to the sleeping city. Moving quietly through familiar streets, avoiding the night watch regular patrol routes, you finally reach Master Fletcher's shop near midnight. William, roused by your persistent knocking, appears at an upper window with a loaded crossbow, before recognizing you with astonishment. Thomas, we expected you tomorrow at earliest, and on horseback. Once inside, you relate your journey. Events while William provides food and drink. The attempted robbery particularly concerns him. Master Fletcher warned of increased risks, he acknowledges, but direct interception suggests serious opposition. Lady Pembroke's agents grow bold indeed. Or desperate, you counter, remembering the political gossip from London. Her brother-in-law's influence wanes. She consolidates advantages while still possible. William updates you on Canterbury developments, increased official inspections of incoming shipments, rumors of informants watching merchant activities, growing tension between traders aligned with London interests versus those seeking noble patronage. Master Fletcher's instructions. He asks as your tale concludes. Here, you respond, carefully extracting the hidden letters from your cloak. We must prepare the consolidated shipment immediately, routing through smaller ports as arranged. With Master Crompton, though exhausted from your journey, you spend another hour reviewing the detailed plans contained in Master Fletcher's correspondence. The scope impresses even William, who managed the Canterbury business throughout. Your London absence? This represents our largest shipment ever, he marvels, examining the inventory lists, and the most dangerous, given current scrutiny, which is why Master Fletcher trusts us to manage it properly. You remind him, embracing the responsibility despite your fatigue. Tomorrow we begin preparations. Tonight, I require sleep above all else. As you finally climb the familiar stairs to the apprentices' quarters, William calls after you, Thomas. You've changed since London. Master Fletcher will find his investment in you well repaid, I think. The observation follows you into sleep. You have indeed changed. The naive village boy has vanished, replaced by someone navigating complex commercial and political currents. Someone entrusted with significant responsibilities. Someone understanding that traditional apprenticeship has evolved into something far more consequential. Whether these changes ultimately lead to prosperity or disaster remains uncertain. But here in Canterbury, with Master Fletcher's letters safely delivered and important work ahead, you allow yourself one certainty. You have become more than an exchange child. You have become essential. Chapter 8. The Turning Point, October. Transforms Canterbury with autumn colours and chill winds that promise winter's approach. For 3 weeks following your return from London, you and William worked tirelessly to implement Master Fletcher's instructions. The consolidated shipment representing the combined interests of Master Fletcher, Master Crompton, and 5 other merchants requires meticulous planning to avoid suspicion. We cannot simply send everything at once, you explained to John, now promoted to assist with inventory management. Master Fletcher's instructions specify divided shipments through 3 different ports, recombined at the Canterbury warehouse before transport to London. The complexity serves a dual purpose, minimizing risk of complete loss if authorities intercept one shipment, while establishing a legitimate paper trail showing proper inspection and duties paid. Not technically smuggling, Master Fletcher had emphasized in his letters, but strategic navigation of restrictive regulations. Your responsibilities have expanded dramatically, while William manages the Canterbury shop's daily operations. You oversee the special arrangements corresponding with coastal agents, creating falsified documentation that disguises the shipments, true contents, and personally inspecting incoming goods redirected from their original French destinations. Master Fletcher grants you considerable authority. William observes one evening as you sign for a delivery using the limited authorization your master provided. Your first official signature on a commercial document. Few apprentices achieve such position before their final year. The observation, though accurate, prompts mixed emotions. Pride in Master Fletcher's trust competes with anxiety about potential consequences should anything go wrong. Beyond these immediate concerns lies deeper uncertainty. Your friendship with Margaret remains complicated by her position in Lady Pembroke's household. No communication has passed between you since your abrupt departure from London, and the Knowledge that her mistress actively works against your master's interests creates a conflict you struggle to reconcile. As preparations for the consolidated shipment near completion, an unexpected visitor arrives at the Canterbury shopmaster, Harwick's senior apprentice, Richard, looking travel-worn and urgent. "I bear messages from London," he announces. After William admits him to the private counting room, for Thomas specifically, from Master Fletcher, the sealed letter Richard presents contains coded instructions that send your heart racing. Using terminology that appears to discuss cloth measurements and quality, Master Fletcher actually communicates critical information. Lady Pembroke has intensified efforts to disrupt Canterbury shipments. Officials have been bribed at major ports. And most alarmingly, someone within the Canterbury operation may provide information to her agents. Master Fletcher suggests you trust no one entirely. Richard elaborates after you decode the message. Even those who appear loyal may report to multiple masters. The warning forces a complete reassessment of your security measures. That evening, after the shop closes, you implement new precautions, providing different departure dates to different workers, creating false documentation for non-existent shipments, and personally verifying every detail rather than delegating. "You suspect me?" William asks directly when he observes your careful compartmentalization of information. Not specifically, you answer truthfully. But Master Fletcher warns that Lady Pembroke's network extends further than we initially believed, limiting. Knowledge protects everyone. William accepts this explanation, though tension lingers between you. The consolidated shipment's success has become personal for you both, demonstration of capability in Master Fletcher's absence, proof that his trust is well placed. Richard remains in Canterbury, ostensibly conducting business for Master Harwick, but actually serving as liaison between the London merchants and your operation. His presence provides valuable perspective on metropolitan politics affecting trade. The king's health deteriorates weekly, he informs you during a private conversation. The council factions grow increasingly bold in anticipation of potential regency arrangements. And Lord Hastings, Lady Pembroke's connection. His position weakens as rival nobles gain influence. Hence her urgency to secure commercial advantages while his protection remains effective. This political context explains the intensified opposition you face. Lady Pembroke races against time, using her current advantages to establish permanent commercial dominance before her brother-in-law's political decline. A week before the consolidated shipment's scheduled London transport, you receive information that chills your blood. 3 merchant vessels approaching different small ports were intercepted by customs officials acting on reliable intelligence about irregularities. Though none carried your goods, the pattern suggests systematic monitoring of all potential alternative import channels. We must change plans again, you decide, convening a midnight meeting with William and Richard in Master Fletcher's counting room. All documentation prepared so far becomes worthless. We create new identities for the shipments, new routes, new everything. The revised approach requires exhausting days of preparation and several sleepless nights. You personally visit each warehouse where goods await transport, supervising their repackaging with new markings and documentation. The physical labor, combined with mental strain, leaves you hollow-eyed and short-tempered. "You push yourself too hard," William cautions after finding you asleep at Master Fletcher's desk, face pressed against ledger pages. "Exhaustion leads to mistakes we cannot afford. The warning, though valid, cannot slow your pace. Each Day brings news of increased enforcement at ports and highways. The window for successful implementation narrows constantly. 2 days before the newly scheduled departure, a messenger arrives from London bearing another encoded communication, not from Master Fletcher this time, but from Master Crompton. Deciphering it reveals unexpected instructions: delay all shipments indefinitely. Further information will follow via special courier. The message creates immediate crisis. Some goods have already begun moving toward Canterbury under the revised arrangements. Halting them mid-journey increases risk of discovery, yet Master Crompton's warning cannot be ignored. We must retrieve everything already in transit. You instruct William. Send our most trusted workers to intercept each shipment and redirect to secure storage locations. The logistics of this sudden reversal overwhelm even your careful planning. For 48 hours, you barely eat or sleep, coordinating emergency responses to the changed situation. Just as the last shipment receives confirmed secure storage, Richard brings explanatory news from London. Lady Pembroke suffered catastrophic reversal, he reports, eyes gleaming with suppressed excitement. Her brother-in-law, Lord Hastings, has been accused of conspiracy against the Crown. Tower officials seized his properties yesterday, including documents revealing Lady Pembroke's commercial arrangements. The development stuns you. Her special import permissions revoked immediately. Her warehouse near the Tower sealed pending investigation. And Lady Pembroke herself, Richard's expression turns grave. Fled London with her household, reportedly heading north toward family estates in Yorkshire. Her London residence stands empty, her goods forfeit to the Crown. Your thoughts fly immediately to Margaret. If she accompanied her mistress in this hasty departure, any chance of reconnection vanishes, yet concern for her welfare overshadows. Personal disappointment, Lady Pembroke's fall, endangers everyone in her household. Master Crompton suggests we maintain caution for another week. Richard continues, unaware of your distraction. Ensure all evidence of our alternative. Arrangements remains hidden until the political situation stabilizes. The prudent advice guides your actions through increasingly chaotic days. Canterbury buzzes with rumours about London political upheaval and its commercial implications. Merchants previously aligned with Lady Pembroke's interests suddenly seek connections with independent traders. Former adversaries become potential allies overnight. A week after Master Crompton's warning, Master Fletcher himself returns to Canterbury, looking haggard from hard travel but triumphant. The private meeting he convenes with you, William, and Richard lasts hours as he details London developments and their implications. Lady Pembroke's operation collapsed entirely, he confirms, her commercial network exposed as functioning without proper taxation. The Crown estimates thousands of pounds in lost revenue. And our arrangements? You inquire cautiously. Master Fletcher's thin smile conveys volumes. Perfectly timed to emerge as legitimate alternatives during this disruption. Master Crompton secured official recognition for our trading route as a model of proper procedure from the new customs administrator. The irony that your carefully concealed alternative channels now receive official endorsements strikes you as both absurd and fitting. The consolidated shipment, rather than requiring elaborate subterfuge, can now proceed openly with full documentation. Your management during my absence exceeded expectations. Master Fletcher tells you directly when the others depart. William reports your leadership proved decisive during multiple crises. I simply followed your instructions, you demur. Though pride warms you. No, You adapted when circumstances required innovation. He studies you thoughtfully. Such judgment cannot be taught. It emerges through experience and natural ability. The praise, more extensive than any previously offered, hints at future possibilities beyond ordinary apprenticeship. Master Fletcher confirms this impression with his next statement. When your 7 years conclude still distant, but approaching, will offer partnership rather than merely journeyman status. Your value to this business has been demonstrated beyond question. The offer represents extraordinary advancement, partnership in an established merchant house rather than years as a journeyman, followed by struggle to establish independent trading rights. For a village boy sent away at 12, such opportunity exceeds wildest expectations. I am honored by your confidence, you respond, genuinely moved by his recognition. Master Fletcher nods, acknowledgement. Now, regarding the consolidated shipment, we proceed immediately, using official channels with complete documentation. The political shift makes concealment unnecessary. The following days bring frantic but straightforward activity as you implement the simplified arrangements. Goods previously hidden in scattered locations converge on Canterbury before proceeding to London. Under proper inspection and taxation, precisely the legitimate commerce your documentation always claimed. Though previous circumstances required more complex reality, as Master Fletcher predicted, the consolidated shipment receives expedited processing at London Customs, a demonstration of the new administration's efficiency compared to previous corruption. Master Crompton's agents report complete delivery, without incident, resulting in substantial profits for all participating merchants. With crisis resolved and normal operations resuming, you find thoughts returning increasingly to Margaret. Lady Pembroke's northern flight likely took her household servants far from Canterbury or London. Yet uncertainty about Margaret's fate troubles you. Did she escape the worst consequences of her mistress's fall? Could she have separated from the household during the chaotic departure? One unseasonably warm November afternoon, while supervising inventory in the warehouse behind Master Fletcher's shop, you glimpse a hooded figure in the doorway, slight, female, hesitating at the threshold. Your heart stutters as the visitor pushes back her hood, revealing familiar features. Margaret, she steps inside, glancing nervously behind her before responding. Thomas, I hope to find you here. Questions tumble through your mind: how she escaped Lady Pembroke's household, how she reached Canterbury, how she located you, but her appearance suggests more urgent concerns. Though not disheveled, her clothing shows travel wear, and shadows beneath her eyes indicate recent hardship. Are you well? When Lady Pembroke fled London, I did not accompany her, Margaret interrupts. When Lord Hastings was arrested, I realized her household would face consequences. I claimed illness and remained behind when they departed. Her foresight impresses you. Where have you stayed since then? With a cousin of my mother S, who serves as housekeeper to a merchant family near St. Paul's. She hesitates before continuing, but I cannot impose upon their charity much longer. I came to Canterbury seeking new position, understanding Donschi needs employment, preferably far from Lady Pembroke's remaining influences. Master Fletcher's household requires additional help since business expanded. You suggest immediately. Mistress Agnes complained just yesterday about managing increased responsibilities without sufficient assistance. Hope brightens Margaret's tired features. Could you speak for me? My service with Lady Pembroke taught household management suitable for a merchant's home. Of course. Wait here while I find Master Fletcher. You locate your master in his counting room, reviewing correspondence. He listens with surprising receptiveness as you present Margaret's situation, delicately omitting your previous friendship while emphasizing her experience in noble and merchant households. Lady Pembroke S., former Lady S., made he muses potentially valuable, assuming she left that service before her mistress's disgrace became widely known. She departed when Lord Hastings was arrested, you confirm, foreseeing the consequences, intelligent as well as experienced. Then, Master Fletcher considers briefly. Very well. Introduce her to Mistress Agnes for assessment. If satisfactory, we might arrange a position. Canterbury society need not know her previous connection to Lady Pembroke. The interview with Mistress Agnes proceeds better than you dared hope. The housekeeper, perpetually overworked since Master Fletcher's business expansion, recognizes Margaret's training immediately. Within an hour, preliminary arrangements are made. Margaret will serve a month's trial in the merchant household, assisting with domestic management and correspondence. A fortunate resolution, Master Fletcher comments later when you report the successful arrangement. The girl gains respectable position, while our household acquires capable help. A balanced exchange. The word resonates with your journey from village apprentice to merchant's trusted deputy. Like you, Margaret has navigated separation. From home, service to demanding masters, and now transitioned to new circumstances following political upheaval. When you find private moment to speak with her after her successful interview, this shared experience creates immediate understanding between you. Thank you, she says simply. Without your intervention, my prospects remained uncertain. Your warning about Lady Pembroke's trading schemes proved invaluable, you remind her. Consider this repayment of that debt. Margaret smiles slightly. Then we begin our new association with accounts balanced, appropriate for a merchant household. The merchant's language, applied to personal relationship, strikes you as both amusing and apt. Your childhood ended with exchange into apprenticeship. Your adolescence now concludes with balanced accounts between yourself and Margaret, between responsibility and opportunity, between duty to Master Fletcher and personal connection. Winter approaches Canterbury, promising seasonal slowdown in trade and time for reflection. Yet unlike previous winters of your apprenticeship, you face the coming months not with dread of isolation, but with anticipation of new developments, expanded business responsibilities, partnership prospects, and perhaps, most intriguingly, Margaret's daily presence in Master Fletcher's household. The world that once seemed limited to 7 years of apprenticeship now extends infinitely in all directions. The exchange that separated you from your village has led through unexpected paths to position, knowledge, and connection your family could never have imagined when sending their 12-year-old son away with a merchant. In Master Fletcher's counting room that evening, reviewing accounts by candlelight, you realize with sudden clarity that the traditional exchange of children, once seeming cruel and arbitrary, contained wisdom your 12-year-old self could not comprehend. Not merely economic arrangement or social custom, but recognition that growth requires separation, that capability emerges through challenge, that adulthood arrives through testing rather than simple passage of time. The quill pauses in your hand as another thought forms. Perhaps the true exchange was internal trading, childish security for adult capability, village limitations for worldly knowledge, simple relationships for complex connections. The transformation from exchanged child to essential participant in commercial networks represents currency more valuable than any cloth passing through Canterbury's warehouses. Outside, Cathedral bells mark the evening hour. Tomorrow brings new responsibilities, new possibilities, new complications. But tonight, balancing Master Fletcher's ledgers with practiced ease, you allow yourself rare certainty. The exchange has favored you beyond measure. Epilogue. 7 years later, the spring morning dawns clear and mild as you make final preparations in Master Fletcher's counting room, now equally yours since the partnership agreement 3 years ago. Canterbury. Cathedral bells ring prime as you review the quarterly accounts one last time before the important meeting. Profits have increased substantially since you assumed joint management of the business, with trading connections now extending not only to London and France, but to Italian city-states and even the distant Hanseatic League. A knock at the door interrupts your review. Margaret enters, no longer a household servant, but Master Fletcher's correspondence secretary and, for the past 2 years, your wife. Her capable management of domestic affairs parallels your commercial success, creating seamless integration between household and business operations. William has arrived with the new apprentice. She informs you, adjusting papers in her arms. They await you in the main shop. You close the ledger and stand, straightening your best merchant's coat, finer than anything your village parents could have imagined their son wearing. Does the boy seem suitable? Margaret's expression softens slightly, terrified, homesick, and trying desperately to hide both. Precisely as you described yourself at 12, the observation accompanies you as you make your way to the shop floor, where William, now a successful merchant in his own right after completing his apprenticeship with Master Fletcher, stands beside a thin boy with uncombed hair and wide, apprehensive eyes. Master Blackwell, William greets you formally for the boy's benefit. May one present Edmund Cooper from Rochester Village. His father arranged apprenticeship through the UAL channels. You study the boy carefully, recognizing in his nervous posture and darting gaze the same uncertainty you felt standing in this same shop 7 years ago. Edmund, welcome to Canterbury. I trust your journey proved uneventful. Yes, sir. The boy responds, voice barely audible. Thank you for accepting me as apprentice. Master Fletcher makes these arrangements, you clarify, though in truth you had specifically requested a village apprentice rather than a city-born child. But I shall oversee much of your training. The boy nods solemnly, clearly overwhelmed by his new surroundings and responsibilities. After discussing practical arrangements with William, you dismiss him to help Margaret establish the apprentice in the quarters you once shared with William and John. Left alone briefly, you allow yourself a moment of reflection. 7 years have transformed your life utterly, from exchanged village child to prosperous merchant, from frightened apprentice to respected partnership, from lonely boy to husband, and now, effectively, master to a new generation. Master Fletcher enters from the street, moving more slowly these days, but still sharp-minded and commercially astute. Though semi-retired, he maintains active interest in major business decisions. The new apprentice arrived, he inquires, settling into his customary chair near the window. Yes, reminds me of myself at that age. Master Fletcher chuckles softly, frightened, resentful, and secretly relieved to escape village limitations. The accurate assessment surprises you. Even now, you recognized all that. Of course, why else choose you from among several potential apprentices? Ambition disguised as obedience, intelligence masked by deference, valuable qualities in a merchant. He gestures toward the counting room. The quarterly accounts, completed. Our London operations show 30% increase since last spring. Master Fletcher nods approvingly. The exchange served us both well, it seems. As Margaret returns with accounting questions and William brings contracts requiring review, you find yourself watching the new apprentice Edmund as he observes everything with barely disguised wonder. You recognize the moment his fear begins, transforming into curiosity, the exact transition you experienced during your first days in Canterbury. Later, when showing Edmund the basics of inventory management, you find opportunity to offer what you once desperately needed: understanding, rather than mere instruction. The separation feels impossible now. You tell him quietly while demonstrating proper cloth measuring, but the skills you gain here will open possibilities beyond anything your village offers. The boy looks up, surprise evident in his expression, surprised that you comprehend his unspoken homesickness. Did you feel the same, Master Blackwell, when you first came? Indeed, yet now I cannot imagine any other path. You gesture toward the prosperous shop. The warehouse is visible through the window, the commercial empire built from cloth and calculation. This becomes available to those who learn well and work diligently. That evening, after shop closing, you and Margaret walk through Canterbury streets toward the small but comfortable home you purchased last year. The spring twilight bathes the cathedral in golden light as you pass citizens who greet you respectfully. No longer an apprentice, but an established merchant, a tax-paying householder, a recognized member of the community that once seemed so foreign. The new apprentice seems promising, Margaret observes as you near your home, though perhaps he requires more encouragement than instruction initially. As I did, you acknowledge. Master Fletcher understood that balance better than I appreciated at the time. Inside your home, as Margaret lights candles and your single servant prepares the evening meal, you settle at your private desk to review household accounts. The domesticity of this moment far removed from your village, childhood or early apprenticeships strikes you with sudden poignancy. From the small chest where you keep personal items, you withdraw the carved wooden cross your mother pressed into your palm the day you left home, though you returned to visit twice during your apprenticeship. Finding your siblings grown almost beyond recognition and your parents visibly aged, the village no longer feels like home. Your world has expanded beyond its boundaries, your understanding reshaped by education and experience. Yet the cross remains, connecting past to present, reminding you of origins easily forgotten amid current success. You trace its worn edges, considering the distance traveled, not merely physical miles, but the journey from child to adult, from dependent to provider, from apprentice to master. A knock at the study door interrupts your contemplation. Margaret enters with a sealed letter, bearing the distinctive mark of Master Crompton's London establishment. Just delivered, she explains. The messenger indicated importance. Breaking the seal reveals unexpected news. Master Crompton proposes joint investment in an ambitious venture, an expedition to newly discovered lands across the Western Ocean requires financial backing. The potential returns could multiply investment tenfold, though risks remain substantial. What opportunities do you think he sees? Margaret asks after reading the proposal. Her commercial acumen, developed through years managing correspondence for Master Fletcher and now for your partnership, catches nuances you might otherwise miss. Beyond potential profit, establishing early trading connections with these new territories, you consider the implications. The first merchants to secure reliable routes will dominate commerce for generations. Like Master Fletcher securing Canterbury's position between London and the Channel ports, Margaret observes, foundation for everything that followed. The parallel reveals how thoroughly you have absorbed your master as strategic thinking, the lessons of your apprenticeships, seeing beyond immediate transactions to longer patterns, recognizing opportunity in disruption, building connections that outlast momentary advantage, now guide your own commercial decisions. After discussing details further, you draft a preliminary response indicating interest while requesting additional information. Margaret offers editorial suggestions, her practical perspective balancing your more speculative tendencies. Another exchange of complementary talents that strengthens your partnership in both business and marriage. As you prepare for sleep, thoughts return to young Edmund beginning his apprenticeship. The traditional exchange of children that once seemed arbitrarily cruel now appears differently through adult eyes. Not merely economic arrangement, but societal. Recognition that growth requires separation. That capability emerges through challenge. That maturity develops through broadened experience, rather than mere passage of time. He will adapt more quickly than he believes possible, Margaret murmurs, correctly interpreting your thoughtful expression, as we both did. And perhaps find opportunities neither he nor his parents imagine, you add, thinking of your own unexpected rise from village apprentice to merchant partner with international connections. Tomorrow brings responsibilities, training Edmund, reviewing quarterly shipments, responding to Master Crompton's proposal, maintaining the complex web of commercial relationships that sustains your prosperity. Yet tonight, listening to Canterbury's evening bells mark the same hours that structured your apprentice days, you recognize the full circle completed. The exchange that began your journey continues through you to the next generation. The village boy sent away returns as the merchant who sends for village apprentices. The frightened child becomes the reassuring master. The cycle renews with Edmund's arrival, carrying forward tradition while adapting to changing commercial landscapes. This, perhaps, represents the true meaning of growing up in medieval society, not merely surviving childhood's physical dangers, but navigating the transition from dependent to contributor, from protected to protector, from apprentice to master. The difficulty lies not simply in harsh conditions, but in meeting expectations that transform children into adults through deliberate, structured challenge rather than gradual, sheltered development. As sleep approaches, one final thought crystallizes. Adolescence in any era represents exchange-trading childhood security for adult capability, simple certainties for complex understanding, limited horizons for expanded possibilities. The medieval approach merely formalized this universal human transition, acknowledging through apprenticeship and service that adulthood requires separating from origins to discover one's place in the wider world. In that acknowledgement lies wisdom your 12-year-old self could never have comprehended, but which your adult self now recognizes as foundation for everything you have become. Finn.